Okay, I've got here an electronic ticket number system. It's got a ticket printer. It's got a wall display that shows now serving and window number. And it's also got a client's waiting display. And now there's a manual here. This manual goes with this controller, and we're going to talk about the menus on this controller today and some of the different setup options associated with those menus. Anyway, this manual describes all the details. I'm just going to put it off to the side for the moment, and we're going to take a look at the menus here. First of all, we've got the time and date, but this shows the last person served, the last ticket printed. So I want to press the ticket button, and it's gone from 1 to 2. So ticket number 1 has been printed, ticket number 2 has been printed, and nobody's been served yet today. Okay, so I want to press one of the window buttons right here, and you hear a beep. It shows serving window 1, or excuse me, serving number 1 at window number 6. And if you look on the wall display, you'll see the very same thing, serving number 1 at window number 6. And we have one client waiting, so the lower left display shows 1 waiting, but the client's waiting display shows exactly the same thing. And now let's look at some of the other menus here. Now this shows the last window served, the number of clients waiting again, and time of day, clock settings. And so you might want to check this to make sure it's correct, and a little later on I'll show you how to change that if we need to. Okay, now this kind of gives us historical information here. This is the last 60 minutes, and each of these bins here are for 6-minute increments. So it says every 6 minutes up here at the right. And so we had one client served in the 6-minute period. If I press the serving button, you'll see that a second client got served during the same 6-minute increment. Now I'm going to press this button. This shows the times, the time since the last ticket was printed, the time since the last window was served. Now we're at 0 waiting. Total number of customers for the day was 2. So I'm going to print another ticket. You notice that the ticket time went back to 0 again, so a new ticket was printed, so there's been 0 wait time. Now it's counting up again. And we now show 1 client waiting. The total of customers for the day is still 2, but I want to serve another client. The window time goes to 0 and starts over again. The number of clients waiting has gone back to 0, and the total number of customers served for the day is up to 3 now. So this just keeps us, gives us a stats for the day. Now we're back to the original menu. Okay, so I'm just going to step through the menus real quick again. This is the main menu showing the current state. This shows the number of clients waiting and the last window served and the time and date. And this one shows how many clients were served in a 6-minute increment. Now we're up to 3 clients in the same 6-minute increment. Throughout the day, this is going to change here. So I'm going to print one more ticket. And nothing has changed yet, but when I serve another ticket, we've waited enough time now that we're on the next 6-minute increment. And this little arrow shows us which 6-minute increment is currently active. So in the last 6-minute increment, we served 3 clients. In the subsequent 6-minute increment, we served 1 client thus far. So this will continue to go to the next position each 6 minutes. Then at the end of every hour, it stores information onto the internal history memory. And over here is history memory. You see there's 487 entries stored in here, and it shows all the current stats with the current ticket number, the time of date is displayed at the top, and it gives us historical information and other types of things described in the manual. Okay, now I want to go into a setup mode. So I'm going to push the mode button and hold the mode button for a couple seconds. Remember I told you that we may have to set the time and date. It shows 7:32 and 11 seconds. So if I want to change the time, let's say, now twice a year we got to go between daylight savings time and standard time. So we have to change it at least twice a year, but if your time gets off for some reason, you may have to change it more often. So you can press the select button and you can change seconds. Press it again, you can change minutes, and back again to changing hours. This also shows the version number and the model number of the product. I'm going to press the mode button one more time. This is the day of the year, 2013, March 21. And this is beep tone. Right now it says beep tone, but I could turn this off. If I don't want to listen to the beeps, I can turn off the beeps. The next menu is for saving events. The two important criteria here is that generally most people want to reset the ticket number to 0 at midnight. And so the words reset ticket number resets the ticket number. Now the other thing you see there is save to SD card file. And I can select one, the other, or both. The reason I want to do the save to SD card file is that when the internal history memory gets full, it'll store all the entries to the SD card, provided the SD card is installed. The slots on the side here for an SD card, if there's none in there, this function won't function. So you need to make sure you have a card in there if you enable the save to SD card. Otherwise, once the history memory is full, it only holds 4,000 events. So once it's full, then it starts throwing the data away. But with this in here, you lose no data, and all the data gets stored in the SD card. Now I want to press the mode button one more time. This is setting up the outputs. I can have a display with 2 digits, 3 digits, showing window number. So I can turn this knob here, and you'll notice it's changed to 3 digits and 2 digits for window. I'm going to try some other things here. This is showing a type of service, followed by 3 digits, followed by a window number. You notice there's a separate set of brackets there. That means the Windows number is in a separate display, whereas this setting, the window number is on the same display. Also, there's the letter A there. That means it's an alpha window number versus a numeric window number. So as I rotate through this thing, you're going to see all kinds of variations. Here's a 2-digit window number separate from the window display. So there is a situation where I have 2 displays, one showing window number and another one showing ticket number. Then another display over here showing clients waiting, or the number waiting. So I can turn the number waiting off or on if I don't use the clients waiting feature. Or return it back to 30, which is where we had it set. And the code over here is defined in the manual. You'll find a whole chart of all the different options and the code numbers, and then this gives you a visual indication of what it might look like on the display. Now I want to press the mode button one more time. This is the file name used for the history file. The default is hist A 000, 001, 002, but you can use any name you want to. If you have a certain name you want to use, you can change the letters to anything you want. So by just turning the knob, you can change this to whatever you want it to be. And you step through there. You can also change the starting number to be whatever you want it to be. If you don't want to start with the hist file 0, you can start with any other number. You can also change the data format. CSV or TXT are the two formats. CSV is what you can import into a spreadsheet. TXT is similar, but it's tab separated, and it looks like a plain text when you display the file. Most people prefer CSV because it imports easily into a spreadsheet. So I'm going to tap the mode button one more time. Now this setup delay is not used by any of the features here unless you have a very simple system with only one button on it. This is used when you have noisy buttons. So you can ignore this feature because it doesn't do anything for most of the systems. This is baud rate. This should always be at 2400. You can use other baud rates, but that means you have to change every display and ticket printer baud rate to match. The reason we use 2400 baud is because we can run long cables without loss of data. And this clear all, this is the time of day in which the ticket printer gets reset to 0. And it also clears all the numbers and stores all the stats to the history file. And 00 refers to midnight, which is default, but if you don't want midnight, you can turn the knob, select any other time of day that you want to use. And that's the end of all those different setup menus.